Founded in 2015 in Bangalore, KredX is India's largest supply chain financing platform, a one stop solution for all financial problems. Now, KredX started with a single mission of solving cash flow challenges for businesses through an invoice discounting platform. Today, KredX solves financial issues of all kinds of businesses while offering investors a unique opportunity to make low risk and high return investments. KredX is leading India towards a new era of B2B fintech solutions. Through the use of reliable technology to accelerate customer growth, the company aims to become the world's fastest operating system for supply chain finance. In an exclusive interview with Analytics India magazine, Manish, Kumar, founder and CEO, and Devang, Chief Technology and Product Officer, take us through KredX's journey in the finance world.
So the idea was more in terms of we've seen that there is a gap in the industry, right? And most of the MSME financing is revolving around collateral, right? So the idea was, can I use something which is not like a fixed asset collateral and still gives the entire working capital to the SMEs. So based on that, we started doing a lot of research, and we realized there is always something called account receivables in their balance sheet, right? Which anyhow is basically giving them 30 to 90 days time before they get the money. What if they sell this account receivables to any party, right? And if they sell this account receivable, they can get access to the capital. Right? So to give you an analogy, let's say you are a company, you took some money from family and friends, let's say 10 lakhs rupees, and you started working on it. You started some business. Now with that 10 lakhs, you produce some product, and you got lucky, you got a contract from some large company to sell this product. So you build that company at the 12 lakhs worth of good using that 10 lakhs capital that you've got. Now company said that we will pay you back in 90 days. Now what will you do? You can't do anything because you have already used the entire money of 10 lakhs, right? So one option is, of course, you wait for 90 days, get that 12 lakhs back, then produce again. Next time maybe you will produce 14 lakhs, bill it to them and so on, right? But in 1 year, you are mostly only going to do it 4 times in a year. Right? Now, what we have presented is a solution where we said that what if you have this 12 lakhs, right, worth of account receivables, and the company has said that they will pay you in 90 days. Instead of 90 days, you sell this entire account receivable for, let's say, 11 lakh 50,000, right? You get the money right away, right? And then 90 days later, when the company pay 12 lakhs, that will be, to investors. But now you are producing every day, right? So instead of 4 times in a year, now you are doing 365 times in a year. So your profit margins are reducing, but your profitability is increasing, right? So that's fundamentally on that concept we started this entire concept of having sort of a platform or an exchange where any companies can come and sell their account receivables. Oh, it's an interesting story actually. So we started with a name called Mandi. And why Mandi is because we are a marketplace, and Mandi is basically a marketplace. But then, what started happening is people said that Mandi has a negative connotation. So people are like binary on Mandi name. People are either sold on Mandi, they're saying, oh, amazing name, right? Immediately I got it, it's Mandi, yeah, marketplace, right? And then some people are saying, no, Mandi generally has a negative connotation, right? And Mandi, you don't get a lot of bargaining happens, a lot of trust factors are not involved. So then we started thinking about let's change our name to something else, and then this at the same time this outside India things has also started coming up. So we said we need to have a name which is not too much Indian, but maybe some neutral kind of thing. So we started doing a lot of brainstorming, and we after almost like 5 hours of brainstorming, we able to come to a one word called Kred only, right? Of course with a K. And the reason of K is it's just cooler to have K as cred rather than C as cred. So credibility, credit. From that credibility, credit, we come to a cred. But the next word was not getting finalized. And it was around 12 o'clock in the night, and we said, okay, let's disperse. We'll do the conversation tomorrow. And the conversation moved to WhatsApp. And people were started giving their reply maybe create this, create that. And the other point is you also need to see the URL is available or not, because
Right.
most of the URL taken. So parallelly people are checking URL, parallelly names are getting suggested. And eventually somebody said KredX. And we all liked it. And we say, yeah, looks very nice. KredX looks good. Let's do a
So for us, one of the key pillars was to figure out how do we replace the knowing each other part of the business with technology and data analysis. So and even processes. So a lot of the parts, a big part of the system is built around having processes, data models, and analytics that proxy for trust. So that is one aspect. The second aspect was robustness and scalability. We knew we had to build a system that was going to handle large sums of money. We were in a big sense the custodian of money because the money was flowing forward, but it did not belong to us. Right. So how do we build a system that had auditability, trackability, traceability inbuilt, and at the fundamental level, everything could be traced and everything, the reason and the inflow and outflow of everything could be tracked.
Similarly, in finance, everywhere you go, trust is like prima play. When we started, a lot of companies whom we are giving money was asking me, how can I trust you? And we have to tell that, sir, we are giving money to you, you are not giving money to me, right? So I need to trust you, you don't need to trust me, right? But think it from the business perspective. Their mindset is that today you're coming here to support me, you're giving me finance, but what about tomorrow? Right? So I want to work with a company who can support me for all my life, all my business life, and grow with me, right? Which does not have a lot of archaic process involved into it, which does not have a lot of bureaucratic process into it, right? So it takes a lot of time to build those trust. Right? It takes in terms of people to trust you to take money or even or give money, right? Both is a bigger chunk. Now we are like the largest supply chain finance platform in entire India, and we are processing like billions and billions of transactions. This is only possible because of intense amount of technology goes into. I was recently with one of the senior executive of a bank who said I have a 150-member operation team and they manage possibly 1/10 of the payment that we are processing. And he asked me how large is your team? And I say I have only 10-member team. And he was like shocked because he's like, how is it possible? And he's like, can I borrow your team? I say you can borrow my team, but not my system, right? Because most of the thing is happening through the system, not with its team is more like just doing an overlook and making sure that the system is behaving in the way it was supposed to be. But trust remains the prima play in terms of building the entire thing. You need a banking rail, right? The fundamental rail remains the banking rail. No fintech can work standalone and say I have no connection with any banks, right? They anyhow need the banking rail, and we are lucky to get ICICI as one of our early partners. So our entire payment trails, not through which the entire payments and everything moves, is a major portion of that was ICICI, and we started with ICICI. Over the time, we have other banking partners also works into it. So we always used to have a deep relationship with them, and that is the time when we started working on the B2B payment side. We realized that possibly after all the tech thing that we have created to make the life much better for B2B and much more rewarding for B2B payment, there is still something which is lacking, and that lacking is fundamentally the physical manifestation of the B2B payments, right? So for example, in the consumer side, when the rail is the India Stack entire rail and Aadhaar and all those things, the physical manifestation was fundamentally a UPI app from which you can do the payment, right? So you need like some kind of a physical manifestation. The second thing you also need is is sort of instant gratification, right? Which is fundamentally that you started using a Google or a phone pay because they were giving a lot of cash back, right? And it was not a lot of cash back. Possibly in a month you might be getting like 400, 500 bucks, right? But it still feels good because anyhow you were doing that payment. Even those few bucks is still fine, right? Now there's no reward, there's no nothing is there, and instead Google comes with this wall which gives you like 500 rupees possibly, if you do maybe lakhs of rupees on transaction, right? And that too I said possibly because you have to get all the stickers and everything, but still people are using that UPI because there is a lot of benefit that has come, right? You don't need to carry wallet, you can move to anybody, you can do the payment. So that's where we said that okay, now the physical manifestation has come from the card, how can it create an instant gratification? And that is where we said that we will do a cashback also on this, right? Now B2B payments, which is fundamentally your liability, right? Which is fundamentally, let's say you're a company, you have to pay the money to the suppliers because the supplier has given you some product and services, right? So it's a liability to you, you have to pay. But now somebody is saying I will pay you something as a cashback just to do that payment. Is that instant gratification piece which we added, and that's how this entire ICICI Bank KredX commercial card gets launched into.
At KredX, we have to make a lot of decisions, and we have to make a lot of decisions fast, right? In terms of whether this invoice is pending or not, whether these invoices should be funded or not, how much of the funding should go in this. What is the like extracting data from documents so that there is manual, like less manual entry, which is needed. Like fraud checks about each payment which is coming in, fraud checks on the payments which are coming out. So every activity, every activity that is happening, is a decision to be made whether we want to do that activity. And so that is where, to a large, for a large, for the longest period, we were able to handle it, right? But that also brings in delays, manual errors, and biases. And so we started our journey on the AI part of that, where we said, okay, there is a manual process which is happening, right? And human intelligence is not surpassed, right? Which is great, right? But at the same time, humans are innately, they have biases, biases. So we need to have a parallel system, right? That is a proxy for a lot of the decision making, and we keep moving, a lot of the decision making into the parallel automated system, right? So that it can scale faster. And so yes, that is where the AIML journey for us started. The second aspect is just processing a lot of the documents. For us, invoice is an asset, right? Invoice is the asset which is getting important and sold, right? And we need to be thoroughly sure that these invoices are genuine, right? And again, there are ways and processes in which we can make sure, like there are proxies to making sure that the invoice is genuine, which we follow, right? But at the same time, the additional checks that we do is extracting data from the invoice, looking at patterns, matching these patterns with past invoices from that supplier, from that buyer, and making sure that there is some level of confidence that we have even on the document that we get as an invoice. So yes, this is maybe the other place where we are seeing invoice AI. And interestingly, what is happening now is a lot of these things that we've built now for ourselves internally, right? Whether it is decisioning, whether it is forecasting of cash flows, whether it is confidence level on a certain company, right? Or it is about parsing documents, right? These are things that we now see a lot of our customers also do, right? Like a buyer, like let's say there's a customer, like there's any company, right? They also have to make these decisions because if they're supplying goods to somebody else, right? They need to be confident that they'll get the payment back on time. They need to be confident that this company is trustworthy, right? They get a lot of documents that they need to pass because otherwise they have large teams that's doing data entry, right? So these same problems that we've faced, now we see and we've solved for, and we've used in processing billions of invoices. We see the same problems that our customers also need. And we have products now, and we're discussing about the journey of our products. Right? Like, a big portion of the journey of our products has been through our internal evolution of what we needed, and now realizing that the same use cases are there for other customers also. Right?
I think fintech is probably one of the industries where I feel at least the scope of AI is really vast. Because and there are many reasons for it. One is just by the nature of business, there's a huge amount of data, right, and all kinds of data, and available in a very structured manner, right? Whether it is time series data about different things, whether it's transactional data, whether it is data about an outcome. Right? So there are all kinds of data which is available. Secondly, there's a lot of metadata about each of these entities, right? Like if it's a credit company or a credit industry, right? A company, like for any dispersal, they would collect a large amount of demographic data about about the company, about their details, or even if it's a B2C company, B2C credit loan or credit company, they'll collect a large amount of information, right? So it's a very data-rich environment, and that always has a lot of value in AI. Secondly, the decisions also need to be done in a very need to be done quickly, right? That is a huge differentiator that is happening in the industry across geographies, across sectors, right? Where the speed at which decision is made and the end value is provided is critical, right? And that can only be done if things are automated and decisions are made quickly, and that can only be done with the help of AI ML. Right? Rules or hand-coded rules can only go to to some extent, right? But beyond that, like an if-else conditions can only go. You can't capture every corner case, right? And if you start capturing every corner case, people will start to miss markets and opportunities, right? So it has to be done in a way that can keep learning from how the industry is changing, how the markets are changing, interest rates are changing. It's a very dynamic field, right? And it needs something that is continuously learning. And these avenues are possible only through automations and AI.
Well, that's about it. If you have any finance problems, you know where to head. Keep watching this space for more content.